Hello everyone, and welcome to another video on the ST again. And by the way, there might be the odd little other video that I do not on the ST, but 99% of the stuff will be on the ST. The reason I've chosen today to do my next video is, as you can see, I'm blinded, but we've got a really good, it's freezing cold, but we've got a really good sort of sunny, blue sky, dry day. So I wanted to, let me turn the camera around. I wanted to do a few other bits on the engine bay, which I did point out in previous videos. So what I want to do is I'm going to take off these yellow, the cap, the dipstick, and the washer jet. I'm going to take these off and give them a good scrub, prep them, and then I want to paint them gold as I did the throttle body. So then that way it matches with the other gold touches I've got in the car, because obviously I've got the new dress-up kit that I got from CE UK. Again, another video on that if you haven't already seen that. And another video on that as well, if you haven't already seen that. So go check them out, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these off now, get inside, get some fairy liquid and like a coarse pad to sort of give them a good scuff down. Then I'm going to white spirits them, put some white spirit on to make sure they're properly clean, let them dry and get them mocked up, and then mocked up onto something that I can spray them on. And then I've created my own little sort of spray booth here outside. So let's crack on with taking them off. And fantastically, that has just snapped. It will stay on there, so I could probably just spray it and leave it on. So this is actually slightly later because I've actually already taken off the three parts that I'm going to be spraying, and I have actually sprayed them. But I just thought something else that someone actually once mentioned in one of my previous videos, I think it might have been when I was spray painting this, was to actually remove this kind of battery. I don't know what you really call it exactly, but it's to obviously clamp down the battery. And I'm just thinking, actually, I'm going to take that off and spray that. So I just thought I'd interject this into the beginning of the video just to let you know I was doing that, but you'll see it finished at the end of the video. So got my tools, just 2 bolts, get it off, and then onto the rest of the video. Okay, so got them set up. What I've done is I've actually put a hole through this card and got it so it's sort of nice and secure, and then that way it won't get anything on the bit that goes into the engine. I've masking taped them all up. Underneath of these have been masking taped as well, so nothing's going to be on the screws. And the little washer cap, I'm not sure how well that's going to turn out just because it is broken, but just for now I thought I'll spray paint it. Probably with the layers of paint it might help it, and it will sort of just click into place just for the time being. So as per the other video, just going to use what I used for the metal primer. I know these aren't metal, but it's better for sort of, I think, heat. It says anti-corrosive. But the throttle body seems to be nice and hardened, and the paint's sort of fine with the heat of the engine bay. So why not do these with the same stuff? So I'll probably do a light mist, then do a proper coat, and then possibly another coat as well, just to make sure they've got a full coat on them. Right, I've left them drying for 15 minutes, and I did quite a thick coat. Which actually you can probably see there's a bit of like shine there. That was quite thick. So I did the light dusting, and then I did a good thick coat. So I don't really know if I'm going to need to bother. I'll look a little bit closer, but I don't know if I'm going to really need to bother doing another coat. But I think you can see a little bit of yellow showing, so I might just give them one last little blast, and then we'll move on to doing the gold. Cool, so here we go. We've got the primer done. Now, this is looking good, this is looking good, but weirdly, I don't know if it's picking it up. See how there's like a few areas where it looks like it's not quite adhered to. Now, it's really strange because I have given these one hell of a good scrub, and they've had white spirits on them. They've been left to dry, so they should be totally free of contaminants. But nevertheless, I do remember just before I put the gold paint, on the throttle body, I had something very similar, and then when I put this paint on, and after all the lacquer and stuff, you couldn't tell. So hopefully the same happens again. So let's get the can shaken up, and that's the gold. Again, if you hadn't seen the throttle body video, that's the one I'm using. Got it off Amazon. Yeah, let's get to it and let's start spraying these. So just like I did with the throttle body, I'm going to do, and the primer, I'm going to do a light mist and then probably 2 thick coats. Right, so that is the sort of mist and 2 layers of thick on the gold, and after doing the throttle body and those 3 parts, I sort of feel like I've maybe got 1/4 to 1/3 of that. So I'm just going to let these dry now, and then what I'm going to do is get on with the lacquer. Cool, okay, so it looks like we're ready to do the lacquer now. So looking pretty good. Looking pretty shiny just as they are, but they will end up much better once I've done the lacquer, so they'll be nice and protected. And this is also like a high temp one, again used on the throttle body, so let's get to it. Done my lacquer, and I've actually just done 1 light dusting, and then I've just done 1 really thick coat, and not sure how well that comes across, but hopefully it dries pretty well. Yeah, they look pretty good, don't they? I think they look quite nice and shiny, and in this light the gold always looks a little bit dull. Now if you remember the throttle body one, when I went to the morning time, it was like proper gold. These look a bit brown at the moment, and this is exactly what it looked like in this sort of light. It looks quite blue skies, but believe me, it's actually quite dark. So what I need to do is get these away, leave them to dry overnight, and have another look at them in the morning. But I think even before I fit them, I might actually leave these about 48 hours. I want the lacquer and the paint to really have time to harden before I look at sort of, you know, grabbing hold of them, screwing them on, because I've put the sort of lacquer on especially quite thick. I want to make sure it does have quite a long time to cure and harden, because otherwise what you find is it's touch dry, you know, it feels quite hard to dry, but then you're, say, twisting this on and you'll end up with a big thumbprint, like kind of as you're putting it in. So next shot will probably be sometime in the daylight with these nicely displayed before putting them on the car. Here we go, we've done it. This has actually been a week now since I actually painted these, a lot longer than I wanted. They're looking pretty good, sort of quite nice and glossy, if that's coming across. Not sure how well it's coming across. There you go. Sort of sees quite a nice shine to them. Same here on the dipstick. The battery sort of bracket brace thing, and the little washer cap. Now the reason I had to wait a week was, I think, because of this really crappy cold weather that we've been getting, really damp and cold. When I was spraying them back there, it was very cold, and I think I slightly rushed it, so I didn't let the paint fully cure. Like, I think I did the lacquer only 15 minutes later, probably with the cold weather and everything. Probably should have waited at least half an hour. And then I did 2 coats of lacquer, and I did them very fast. And I think the problem was I think the problem was the lacquer was going on top of slightly wet paint. It hadn't sort of cured properly, really. So obviously the chemicals that are coming out of it were coming through the lacquer. So, and even now it is ever so slightly sticky, like it's like a tacky feel. So if I was to press down with my finger, you'll see an imprint of your fingerprint on there. So I'm just gonna have to be. I'll just stop because there's a dog barking its head off. So hopefully I'm going to just sort of be a little bit careful while replacing these, just because obviously I don't want to damage the paint now after I've done it. And hopefully, just like the throttle body, you know, this is absolutely fine now. This is super squeaky clean, nice and shiny. So hopefully when they've been on the car and they've been in there for a while, maybe it warms up, it'll cure even better. So next shot will be these fitted into the engine bay. And there we have it. So they're on. As I was saying, I just sort of tried to be quite careful with tightening that on, just to make sure I don't leave any fingerprint marks on there. And then we've got the oil dipstick there. We've obviously got the throttle body that was already done. We've got the washer cap bottle and the brace bracket thing on the battery. So I think as a whole it's coming on quite nicely. Do need to remove that. I've had a few comments on that, but the only reason why that is still on there is because whoever previously had this car, the silicone hose doesn't have the breather that goes from here to the one at the back of the crank. So I either need to buy a filter for the back of the crank, but then someone rightly said you're going to get heat soak from that. Probably not so much if eventually when I get the full exhaust I'll get the manifold wrapped, so at the back it shouldn't really produce as much heat under here, so it might be alright. But I think one of the next mods sometime next year, I want to look at getting the, I think it's ITG silicone hose, and I'll get a black one again where it has the pipe that will go to the back of the crankcase. But I think as a whole now it's looking pretty smart. You know, we've got quite a few nice little gold touches under here, nothing major, probably have a few more little bits done. But as a whole, I think the engine bay is looking quite nice, because obviously I've got the CE UK dress-up kit as well. But an extra little thing that I did, now I actually bought these new little like nuts for the top of here, because actually when I took the old ones off, then if you can see them, but they're still on there, because they're not tall enough. The screws for these are really quite high, they're like ½ an inch high, and when I got these I didn't actually measure them beforehand. So, but you know what, they didn't look too bad, because it just kind of, instead of having the screw showing through the bolt, at least now it's got like a nice little chrome new bolts to the top of them, so it just kind of, you know, helps make it look a little bit smarter than it was. I was hoping to just purely replace the little nuts. Now if you do know where I can get full replacements that will cover the whole screw with a nice new nut, then let me know in the comments below. But if not, at least it looks a little bit better anyway. So yeah, let me know what you think of this. If you like this little mod and just how the engine bay is slowly coming along, then give me a thumbs up, really appreciate that. Comment below any thoughts, maybe you've got any other ideas that we can look to do with the engine bay. I'm in talks with some companies, so you know, hopefully I will be able to bring some more stuff to you, maybe do some discounts. That's something that I really want to sort of try and do with the channel as well, is as I grow, you know, invest some of my own money, but also talking to companies and seeing if I can collaborate with them. Just like I did with the car mats, I'm able to work with them, and when you're a subscriber to my channel, you know, you can get discount off the floor mats. So I'm hoping to do more stuff like this with this channel, and hopefully I can help you get cheaper stuff at the same time as me enjoying making these videos, and hopefully you're enjoying them as well. But I think I've talked enough about what I've done. As I said, I hope you like it, and I think it looks a little bit smarter anyway. I think the gold on the black, it's just a combination that worked really, really well. I really do like it, and I think the finish is pretty good. As you can see, it is quite nice and shiny. I think having the lacquer definitely helps. So as always, thank you everyone for watching, and hopefully I will see you in another video very soon. Bye.